Hello again. Today's bake is going to be a recipe from Ritchard Bertinates' book Crust, and the recipe, the bake today is going to be his bath bun. It's an absolutely lovely bake. The whole family loves it, so that's the one we're going to be doing today. This isn't a paid promotion or anything like that. This is just a bake for the love of it. Mr. Bertinates has not paid us or anything like that to do this bake today. First of all, it's a bake that requires a ferment, but it's a quick ferment. It's different from the others, and all you need for that ferment is 125 grams of nice fine flour, strong flour, baker's flour, 5 grams of fresh yeast, and 125 grams of water. So I've already measured that out. There's already 5 grams of yeast there, so we don't need to measure that again. And then we just break it up quite roughly into the flour. And then once it's in, I just rub it together again, like it, crumb it, as if you was crumbing butter and flour for pastry or anything like that. Just give it a rub, just to break it down even further. So, wait. This is why I'm called the bumbling baker man, because I get things everywhere. The cops should call me the messy baker man. Right. So yep, there is 125 grams of fresh yeast. So it's 50-50 water flour, 125 grams of flour to 125 grams of water. Here we go. And then it's just a case and giving that a mix with your scraper, making sure to get all the lumps out. There we go. Right, that's that mixed together, and then it's just a case making sure you're in a it's in a warm room, because you've got a place nice and warm for it. Just cover it with a plastic bag as usual, elastic band around it, and there we go. And there it sits for about 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on how warm the place is that it's kept. So see you again in 2.5 hours. Just a quick one. I just want to say, with 3 videos so far, we've got 8 subscribers, and we are over the moon. Honest to God, I couldn't be more fussier than me and my little boy are at the moment, with having 8 people liking what we've done so far so much. that they've subscribed. It really will help in the promotion of this channel and gaining more enjoyment from it as well. So if you like again what you see today, please give us a like, please subscribe, because the more people we can reach out with this this baking is going to be absolutely great. So we're really pleased, and even if we get one more this week, we'll be over the moon. Thanks. Bye. Right, the ingredients that we need is 375 grams of strong white flour, 10 grams of fresh yeast, which we just break up. Similar, you know, just break it up into little chunks. Some fresh yeasts crumble real easily. But this one that I'm using today is it's not as crumbly. It's a bit like a paste, a thick paste. So this is why I crumble, you know, I kind of crumble it with my fingers with the flour, mix it with fingers, doing the crumbling method, you know, if you're doing like a pastry or a crumble topping, just to try and break it, to get some of the lumps a bit tinier. So, because when you're working the dough, now and again you come up against a bit kind of a larger bit of fresh yeast. Right, that'll do. So we've got 10 grams of yeast to 375 grams of flour. We've got 60 grams of sugar, 125 grams of soft butter, two eggs, or 2 large eggs, what I do with this, 150 grams of whole milk, all of this ferment, as you can see. This is what it looks like after 2.5 hours. Very bubbly, very aerated and very bubbly. All of that needs to go in. Now usually when I do it myself, you know, just when I'm baking for myself, I tend to put all these ingredients into a mixer bowl, just to get it started, just to get the mixture together. But I'm not going to do that today. What I'm doing it today is purely by hand. So you can see, because this is a very wet. And then finally 7 grams of salt. But I'm not going to use a mixer at all today because I want to show that you just use your hands. getting the mixture into a very rough dough. Because you think, oh God, with all that milk and all that butter and all them eggs, it's going to be horrible to work. Because it's going to be just so sloppy. But the method that I'm going to use to work the dough, because it's, as Ritchard Bertinates says, it's not working, you don't need the dough, you work the dough. And I'm going to be using his method of working the dough today. And although it might feel a bit strange when you first do it, you very quickly learn it. It's not a really hard thing to learn. Now once you've roughly mixed it together, just pop it out on your work surface. Right, that's a rough mixture there. You just, to work the dough, you just pull your hands under, lift off the floor, pull towards you. At the moment, because the gluten's not being worked, activated, it will fall apart in the early stages. As you can see, it's not really, it's just falling apart, but very quickly you can start to see it come together. There we go, it's slowly coming together. Just keep going, and then you'll, here we go, look, it's starting to come together. And then what you do is you slap it down, open your arms out, put it under your fingers, back under again, pull, under, pull, under. But as you're going round to go under, try and pull your hands away from the actual dough, because the dough will stick to your fingers, so you're not just stretching it that way, you're also stretching it widthways as well, not just length but widthways. So it's there we go, it's coming together now, look. What I'll do is bring that together again. Looks very messy and sticky, which it is. Like I say, you can start this mixture off in a mixer if you want, if you just want to cut down. But this is showing you that you don't need a mixer to make these bath buns. And this is the process, look. Starting to come together. Just found quite big lumps of, as I'm doing it, big lumps of fresh yeast, which I just squish with my fingers. That's why I tried to get them as small as possible when I put the yeast in, added the yeast in the ingredients to the flour. So you can see, now you keep doing this to build the strength in the dough. You see, it's just not breaking up now, you're starting to get you can feel the lumps of fresh yeast as you're doing it, and you just have to disperse them with your fingers. There we go. See? Down, up, down, across, down. Here we go. Right, this does take time, this. You've got to be patient. Usually takes, well, it takes me 3/4 of an hour to get to the point where you don't have to work the dough anymore. So what I'm going to do is put this on a time lapse to speed it up, because we ain't got 3/4 of an hour to do it. So from this point I'll just put it on a time lapse to speed the process up. Okie dokie. Right, when we get to this stage, when the working, you can see it just cleanly coming away now. So we've got to this stage now where we've got our dough how we want it. We need to make it into a ball for when we put it into the mixing bowl. Just lightly flour your mixing bowl. You don't have to put a lot in, just a little bit. So lightly flour your mixing bowl and just a little bit on your work surface. Whoop. And we just put that way down, top side down, and then just fold, stretch and fold until you get to that stage. Turn it back over, give it turn. There we are. And then pop it in the bowl. Well, the dough's had an hour to rest and go through like a mini proof. What we need to do now is get the dough out, reshape it and put it back in. So what I'm going to do is just going to put a bit of flour down, not a great deal. Then I'm going to tip the dough out so the top, the smooth part, is facing down. There we go. I'll just give the bowl another dusting. It's just a case to give, when you knock it back, just to give it a gentle press like that. And then it's a case of just folding the dough in on itself. like that, and then flipping it over, and then giving it a turn. And as you turn, because the bottom of the dough is anchored to the, and another one, that's it. And it's just a case of I was going to tip it the wrong way around then, but I got it back in its rightful place. So there it is, just leave that for another hour. Right, the dough has had another hour to prove. So what we need to do now is we're going to tip the dough out, knock it back gently, just a little way, and then we're going to cut the dough into 100-gram pieces, and then make them into shape them into the little buns. But we'll get it out first, tipping it out, making sure that the top goes to the bottom. Here we go. It should tip out, which it did like. So you can see it's all aerated as I've improved. So just gonna gently knock some of the air out, because when the little buns have been shaped, they need at least another couple of hours to prove again before they go in the oven. Yeah, I've messed up the shaping a little bit. It doesn't really matter, because it's just about move these, stretch it out a bit, and then just roll it over again into a big sausage shape. I'll bring that over this way a bit. Right, so we're going to make them some big bubbles into 100-gram. 170. Just cut a bit off there. It doesn't really matter, you make them as big or as small as you like, really. Well, there's 105. 89, 105, 90, 105. Yeah, you can. 7, 90. If I was doing them at 90, I could have done. But this is about 90 again. Oh, 88. Can't get to the 105. 5. I bet that's over. 114. 104. 125 that time. 103. That'll be 95. 105. Last but not least, this is going to be a diddly one. Yes. So, once we've got them shaped, once we've got them cut up to the right weight, all I do is just put the tiniest bit of flour down. But the main thing is you need to, you don't, if you put that straight onto the flour and you try and shape them, it won't work, because it needs a bit of the stickiness to anchor to the work surface in order for the little ball to be shaped. But what I'll do is put a little bit of flour on the top of my hands, and then you just cup the dough and turn it. Well, I'm rolling clockwise, but it doesn't matter, you could do them anti-clockwise. And there you go. That's it. You ship it, and then you pop it on. I've got greaseproof paper on there, but you can just grease it with some butter, the tray, and do it that way. So again, just you don't have to do anything special with it. Just a bit of flour. The stickiness. There you go. But try and, when you put them on your tray, we don't want them sticking together. We want them separate. There we go. Roll into a ball like this. Just let the ball roll around inside your hand, and there you go. Just give them a bit more shape. Again, just lightly cupping the dough as you get. And again, the next one. A lot of this, people, when it comes to bread and making bread in all its forms, people seem to be terrified of it. It's like steeped in all kinds of mythology. That you can't do this, you've got to handle it with clean kids' gloves or it doesn't work and all the rest of it. And it isn't. Bread is the easiest thing to make. And you just got to do it stage by stage. And if you know what you're doing at each and every stage, it's cracking. These bath buns, once they're cooked, as you'll see, are absolutely lovely. They're as light as a feather. It's not heavy dough, by no means. When you eat into it, when you pick them up, they're so light and so soft. But as you can see, it's not hard to get a bit of dough, put it on the table, on the work surface, and roll it around until it forms a ball. A ball. I just put a bit of flour on my hands, because then it stops my hands sticking to the dough. But it's not a lot, just enough. Here we go. Now we've got 2 left, so it's a good job. I did another tray, so I've got another tray here. These are going to have all the space in the world. What I might do is just take a few off there and give them a bit more space, I think. It's a long while since I've done these, so you're kind of relearning. Making these videos has kind of given me a bit of resurgence to do baking again, you know. It's kind of reignited my passion. And the thing is with making bread, what you find is you're always learning. For what I am, I never quite get there where I know a recipe off by heart and that I don't have to really think about what I'm doing. I always have to think about what I'm doing. Right, we've got 10 nice shaped bath buns. Just move that out of the way, and I'm just going to cover them with this baking cloth. And there they will lie for a good 2 to 2.5 hours doing the final proof. I'll probably, after about 2 hours, I'll start putting them in the oven. But we'll see what they're like in about 2 hours time. I'm not going to use a baking stone. Anyway, we'll look at that later. So yes, here they sit now for 2 hours. See you in a bit. Now the buns have had the chance to go through the final proof. The next stage is to put on a glaze. So this is, to make the glaze, it's 150 grams of whole milk or 150 ml of cold milk to 75 grams of caster sugar. You just put the caster sugar within the milk in the saucepan and just stir until it's dissolved. You don't want the solution to be hot. Warm, tepid warm's fine, but just give it a stir until all the sugar has combined into the milk. The other thing is when you're putting on the glaze, you want to make sure you put plenty on, but you don't put too much on that it starts to collect underneath. You don't want too much, because that just makes the bath buns a little bit soggy. So when it's trying to find that balance between putting plenty on so you've got a decent covering, but at the same time you don't want it to collect. You don't want too much collection on the bottom. I'm going to put these in 2 stages, just so this one will go in first, this batch will go in first, and then these are going to go in the oven for 20 minutes at gas mark 4 or 180 degrees C. I would always preheat your oven good quarter of an hour or so before these go in. That gives plenty of time, so when these go in, it's going into a nice hot oven. So these are going to go in for 20 minutes at gas mark 4, 150. So I'll pop these in. There we go. Put the lamp on. So in 20 minutes, see what they look like. Right, the buns have been in for 20 minutes and just need to come out. Pop them on a rack. Once they're on a rack, pop the grease proof underneath. Now while they're out, very quickly while they're hot, to give them a second glaze. This is the bit that makes them a very sticky, sweet treat. See, you can, now they're on a rack, you can put as much of the glaze on, because the excess just drips down to the bottom of the work surface. There we go. They're a bit dark then, so I've switched the oven down just a tad, because they are a bit well done. But there we go. Now it's time for the next push on it there. Remember, the first coat, you want plenty on, but you don't want much dripping around the edge. And again, there's that little one, the little one at the end. there to go in now. For 20 minutes. Here we go. There we go. They're a bit lighter, but I've got them kissing. We don't want them kissing. Here we go. A little bit up. Take it up there. Where am I? We need a bit more space. Don't want to come off that one. And just give them a second. There we go. They just need to cool down now. Give them about half an hour to cool down, and then we'll have a look, see what they look like inside. Well, that's the bath, my interpretation of the bath bun by Ritchard Bertinates. So all we've got to do now is really have a look inside. Give it a little bit. Oh, look at that. Oh, the lovely crumminess, and it's just lovely and soft. Lovely and soft. That is absolutely smashing. So there we go. If you've liked what you've seen today, please give us a thumbs up. And if you've enjoyed what I've done so far, or we have done so far, me and my boy, please subscribe, you know, because the more subscribers we get, the more, you know, the further this thing will go. So, but that's it. Ritchard Bertinates bath bun. There you go.